Hi, I'm Michael Rasmussen. I live in Makaha Valley, which is in the Waihona area of the island, in the midst of the Waihona Mountains. And this is a little area above the golf courses in the Makaha Valley. And this section of the area actually has its own weather. We have quite a bit more in the way of moisture than, say, the Waihona Valley area, which this side of the island is leeward and therefore it's quite dry, the desert side of the island. So welcome to my yard. We have a very invasive species called Halikoa, which essentially is a Hawaiian word for a white man's tree. And it was brought over here as browsing material. That's material cattle eat for forage. And they were brought from Australia. And it just took over the entire island. So this area, before we had the yard and the house here, was just totally covered with Halikoa trees. That's the worst invasive species on this side of the island. There's a guava that we enjoy, the guava juice and everything of Hawaii, but it's a very prolific growing plant and tree on the islands, and it's spread by birds who eat the seeds from the guava, and then their droppings just spread the seeds all over the island. More on the other side where it rains a lot. Well, when we say native plants in Hawaii, most of the plants that we associate with the tropical beauty of Hawaii, most of them come from all over the world. For instance, we have this is called a monstrosa plant. It's a beautiful plant often associated with Hawaii. It's actually from South America, as I remember. It's true with so many of the pretty orchids and things come from the Amazon and all over the world. So Hawaii is so prolific. It grows plants so prolific because of the temperature, moisture, etc. Most of the plants here. True alloy it's the alloy that has a beautiful flower with all of the Hawaiian colors, orange, yellow, and red. But it's not the one that we like to use so often for the medicinal use for mosquito bites, etc. Shrimp plant is a common name given to this plant right behind me. Beautiful little yellow, blooming, and it constantly blooms. Has these two little white ears that kind of stick out. I don't know why it was called a shrimp plant, but that's the name, and it's a real prolific and cute plant. One of my favorites. The double hibiscus is, well, there are so many varieties of hibiscus, and the double is instead of having a stamen in the middle and all developed around that one stamen, the double is just totally full of petals. The bottle brush is a real cute blooming. It's a bush and actually becomes a tree, and it's just real cute bushy little bloom that is just about like a bottle brush. You don't use them so much anymore, but they used to clean baby bottles with a bottle brush, and that's what it reminded them of, and I'm presuming that's where the name came from. The buttercup is a real common flower in Hawaii that's sort of a vine. Gives real good color to a yard, and you'll see them pretty well all over Oahu for sure. Poinsettia right over there. Poinsettia is often associated as the Christmas flower. And it's interesting because it grows quite prolific in Hawaii, and what makes it turn red is the lack of sunshine. So when a nursery grows them for the mainland to sell at Christmas time, they put them in big nurseries and they blot out all the sun for a while every day, and they turn real bright red from lack of sun. Popcorn orchids are it's a real prolific little orchid. Likes to grow in a corner and spreads real heavy roots at the bottom, and then it shoots out a stem about 36 inches long and just has profuse little tiny yellow and brown orchids, and they look like popcorn orchids. Gardenia, there are so many varieties of gardenia in Hawaii. The most common use for gardenia on the mainland, people know it because it's used as a corsage when the girls like yourselves get asked out for a date. Smaller blooming gardenia that looks like a little propeller. There's so many varieties that probably take a half hour to name all of them. That's what it is. Well, orchids are so, in a general way, difficult to talk about because there are so many varieties, literally thousands. And in Honolulu often, once a year, they have huge garden shows where they're displayed by the score. Oh, the heliconia, okay. Yes, that parrotbeak is just one variety. There are many, but the parrotbeak is a real prolific one that has the colors of Hawaii, yellow, red, and orange. And it's just it's a plant that'll bloom all year if you nurture it properly and give it plenty of water. It's used in a lot of floral displays in Hawaii. Oh, variegated plants. Variegated is a word used for leaves on plants that have various colors. So sometimes you'll have up to 2 or 3 colors in the leaf of a plant, and so they call them variegated plants. They're really quite pretty. I like them. Usually yellow and green together. These are a lot of croton plants, a very common plant on the island, used for hedges, floral displays, and there's so many varieties. There's another variegated leaf. The same with this variety over here, but you see the different colors involved. It's quite different in the combinations of red and green and mint color. Then over here you have the real vibrant croton.